Hello everyone, my name is David and I'm known on the internet as Unity Freedom. So welcome back to my channel. Today I have a topic to continue on my talks about the Buddha's Eightfold Path, and today I'm going to talk about higher speech. It's also about how to overcome your illusions through a higher speech. So if you're interested in listening more to what I have to say, we'll go through a short intro and I'll be back and talk more. Okay, so today the topic, continuing on from the Eightfold Path, the Buddha's Eightfold Path, is speech. Now the Eightfold Path, pretty much what you listen or read about the Buddha's teaching is, what shall I say? People think that when Buddha taught about speech, right speech, wrong speech, is that people put a lot of mental effort in finding the right speech. What should I say? And often in the past, what I do is in terms of the right speech, is that I always like to tell the truth. But of course, later on, I realized that it's helpful to tell the truth, but there's more to it than getting the right speech and not getting the wrong speech. So scientists have discovered that the whole world is made of energy vibrating at a certain frequency. And that energy basically forms the whole world that we see today. The matter, the density, basically is comprised of energy vibrating at a certain vibration. And of course, if you look at life, what determines energy, the formation of energy? It is consciousness. Consciousness, whatever we have inside our psychology, or whatever unresolved psychologies we have, interacts with what Buddhists call the interdependent originations, or what I like to say, the interdependent whole. So our consciousness interacts with the interdependent whole. And that interdependent whole shapes the reality that we live in. So if you have a certain mindset, and last time I talked about the superiority and the inferiority mindset, if you have this superiority mindset, then you have these ideologies and ideas that you want the world to be shaped so that it makes you feel that you're superior among others. And what happens is that your consciousness shapes the reality around you, and then the energy then forms the reality that you live in. So if you want to be superior to others, then you actually attract or create conditions outside yourself that reinforces your superiority. Take, for example, I used to work for a company that makes prestigious digital camera equipment. And it is a luxury brand. I joined the company because first of all, I like the brand and I like the products they make. But also, I have this sense that I want to be special. And how easy it is to associate yourself with a known brand that is a luxury brand, that being with a company or even owning the company's products will make you special. And so I created the condition and situations where I work for this company. And of course, what would I say when I work for this company? That I will say, based on my speech, that our company products are the best, the top of the line. No one else is better than our products. Because I really believe in the product and I really believe in the brand. So basically I was influencing others to make others believe that what we have as a brand is the best brand. It's the most special brand. That if you own this product, it also makes you feel special. And of course, it ties in hand because it validates my psychology. I want to be special. I want to feel superior against others. And the easiest way to do that is to associate yourself with a known brand. And of course, over the years, it felt really, really good. But of course, in this situation, when you create a superior product, well, something else has to contrast that superiority. And it is that inferiority mindset. So any product that's inferior will make any product that's superior that much more superior. Just like a rich person can only know that he's rich if he can only contrast himself to someone who's poor. So the richer he feels, the poorer the other person feels. And usually it's done through the transfer of wealth by siphoning off the poor people hard living wages and savings and transfer that to the rich people. And of course, one of the ways to do that is luxury goods. These people make you feel like if you just stretch your budget just a little bit more, you'll be able to buy this car, to buy this handbag, to buy this nice computer. You'll be automatically entered into an exclusive club. It makes you feel exclusive. And you don't have to be rich in order to feel being exclusive in the club. So you will stretch your budget and you would do whatever you can, even borrow your money, even max out your credit card in order to afford these products. Now, in a way, it's kind of legal because companies make these luxury products or offer luxury services to make you feel special and important. And that's the point. It's just to make you feel special. And of course, it only works if you have the superiority mindset that wants to feel special too. So you'll be attracted to these products. But of course, one day you will start to or slowly realize that really it's all just an emperor that has no clothes. Meaning that the products, yes, it is a luxury brand, but then the product is no different than a product that is or doesn't have that brand, the luxury brand. You can buy maybe the same product with the same materials without the brand, but it's cheaper. And eventually people is going to find out. And I remember that that's exactly what happened. That we have a product that I work for a company and they produce this product, but it has some defects in it. And instead of addressing the defects, which they did for a short period of time, eventually they stopped addressing it because they project this image that, well, if you own our products, there's no defect. It's the image that you're carrying the product with that's important, not really the defect. And of course, some people realize there are some defects. And when they voice their concerns or their grievance, hey, this product has some issues, can you fix it? What they do is they go on the internet forums. And when they go to the internet forums, they ask others, hey, I have this issue on this product, can you help me? But most often, when you go to this forum and people have this brand and they have no issues, but they tied their identity to the brand. But as soon as somebody complains that, hey, there's some issues with the brand, it's not meant to put down the brand, but it's meant to ask for help. How can you help me address this issue about the defect on the product? Instead of getting help, these people who ask for help, they get attacked. Because how dare you even say anything bad about the product? So now these people, they complain about the product and they're not getting any help. And of course, I was taking care of the customer service and I become empathetic to some of these customers' concerns. And so I brought it up in a meeting that we need to address these issues because this truly is a defect. And we need to address the defect. But of course, the company, the people, they don't want to listen to the defect. They don't want to listen that there is any issues at all. It's sort of like I am the child and my boss was the emperor. I was trying to tell the emperor, hey, we have this defect in the camera and it's still there is an issue with the camera or with the product that we need to address it. And what I realized is that when I talked about those defects, I sense that My boss didn't want to hear what I have to say. And I started to realize that I was under this illusion when I was speaking out the truth. I realized that, yes, being special is great to be associated with the brand, but denying, ignoring, and pushing away, pushing back on the truth, that's not being special. It's just being ignorant. So I realized that the reason I was there was that I want to be associated with that company so I can be special. But when I started to talk about the truth, then I realized they didn't feel comfortable with what I had to say. They didn't feel comfortable that I was addressing a certain truth, a certain concern from customers that don't feel like they have to pay for these defects. But of course, finally, what happened then was that I was put down, I was shut out. Basically, the whole meeting, the meeting was to ask why the company was suffering financially. And I was telling the truth. All you have to do to improve your finances is to be straight to your customers and just be frank and address the issue, address the technical issues, fix the defect, and the customers will regain trust again. But they don't want to hear that. And I realized there's no point in saying anything further. But because I said that, it's interesting that out of the whole team, almost everyone didn't want to talk to me anymore, except 3 people. These 3 people realized I was telling the truth. They also want to address the issue with my boss, but they were scared to address it because they were so afraid of endangering their livelihood, their job. Because telling the truth, it might cost them their job, which it did to me. But it felt good to tell the truth because in my heart, I wanted to say that. Because I felt that I needed to express that. In that particular situation, I felt a need to express. Not to yell at my boss, but to express a certain fact. It's like the boy calling the emperor, "Hey, you're not wearing any clothes." I felt I needed it, but I remember when I was trying to express that, I stood up, I raised my hand to say my piece. I was so nervous. I was stuttering. It was like I was trying to say the whole sentence, but I was like that. I was so nervous. I was sweating. Why? Then after the whole incident has passed, I was asking myself, why was I sweating? Why was I trembling? Why was I stuttering? Why was I felt shameful afterwards, saying nothing but the truth? In fact, after I said it, a few days later, I felt this urge to apologize to my boss. This thing inside me, this outer self, felt that, I shouldn't even say that. That was so rude by telling the truth. It felt like I sensed that I needed to apologize. But then I step back and say, why do I need to apologize for telling the truth? Why did I need to apologize to the boss for pointing out that he's not wearing any clothes? And so I realized by then, that was a higher speech. My higher speech, the speech that I made to the rest of the group, including my boss, allowed me to shatter the illusion that I had, the worshiping that I had with my boss. But why is that? What is higher speech? Instead of right speech, instead of trying to figure out what is the right thing to say so it doesn't upset people, so that it doesn't upset your boss, so that when you say something you have to be diplomatic, just like what I used to be before. People call me, oh, you're so diplomatic, David. But I have created an outer self that was so diplomatic with people, so that I point out certain things, but I point it out in a way that wouldn't cost my job. But it was just superficial. I was pointing out things that were superficial. It wasn't really solving the issue or addressing the issue. It was just superficial, icing on the cake. It's the fluff, so some people say. You're just fluffing out. It's all fluff. No substance behind it. And that was me before I gained the strength to speak out. So what is higher speech? Is higher speech requires you to have a higher tone, or to have a higher composure? What I realized the higher speech is vibration. It's energy vibrations. You know that when I do decrees and invocations using the Ascended Master teachings, when I decree, when I invoke using my voice, I feel a higher vibrational energy is flowing through me. And through that, I can see and allow myself to expose any illusions that might be lurking that I couldn't see. It allows me to have a clear mind and be able to see the illusions. And at that time, I also realized that once I finished telling what I needed to say in front of the whole group and team of the company, in front of my boss, 3 people after the meeting came towards me silently and told me and thanked me for saying the truth. 3 people. And these 3 people actually were the ones defended me that I didn't do anything wrong, which I was grateful and thankful for that defense. Otherwise, I would be in trouble because no one would help me. But what I realized was that that speech I made carried a higher vibration that shatter the illusions that they had of the boss of the company. They realized it's not really that special, the company they work for. It's based on a certain illusion that people buy into the name of the company, into the culture of the company, and that the other staff were not willing to shatter their illusion, to see that it's just an illusion of superiority. Because when you have a sense of superiority, You're tied to a certain illusion, and you attract and you create a certain illusion that makes you feel superior. But it's just an illusion until you step back and realize it's not real. It's just an illusion to make you believe that you're superior to others based on which company you work for, what ideologies you hold on to or you believe in, and the culture that you are raised up to be. But all of these are just labels. And I realized at that point in time that when I spoke out the truth, which I actually wanted to say for many years, but I was afraid to say it because there are consequences when I said that. And of course, at the time when I said it, I really didn't want to stay with the company for very long anyways. I needed to pivot and move on to doing something new. So I said to myself, well, what the heck? You know, if shit hits the fan, so be it. If I lose my job, so be it. So I was ready to give up and surrender whatever the illusions that I was holding on to, but I was saying my piece through a higher speech. And I was telling the truth. And the truth was, in order for the company to come back again financially, well, again, you address the issue, the customer's issues, and also your product issues. So that was what I realized, that just by me expressing myself through a high speech, because what's the best way to experience higher vibrations? It's through voice. You're expressing yourself through a voice, through your speech. And if you're in tune with your higher self, your I am presence, or with the spiritual guides, with the ascended masters, then when you're taking in the vibrations and the information and then you are just repeating it, it comes out from your mouth, and the vibrations, you know what it is in science, that higher vibrations transmute the lower vibrations, and it creates a third waveform vibration that is much higher than lower vibrations. And I believe that when I spoke out what I needed to express in public, it helps me cancel out the illusions, the negative vibrations that I was in, to allow me enough time to see the illusion that I was actually in the superiority mindset. I didn't have to hold that anymore. And I decided enough is enough by holding that. And so, of course, when I finished expressing it, I decided not to hold that thought or belief anymore. I walked away from it, and guess what? A few days later, yes, I lost my job. I left, basically, 1 year later, I left the company. And then I couldn't find another job working in the same field, which I was trying to, because after I left, I still have little bits of the outer selves that wanted to come back and work for the same field. But I had another field that I have in mind. And so when I go and study nursing, and after I finish nursing, there's so many opportunities available for me to work that I couldn't work or couldn't find before I resolved the psychology this particular superiority mindset that I had that was attached to. So I figured that it must be the psychology, the unresolved psychology that I had let go, that no longer interact with the interdependent whole. And so the reality has changed. The new reality has set in, and I have new opportunities. And so the same thing happens with the inferiority mindset, which I have observed in actually some of my staff that I work alongside with. And the inferiority mindset is you felt like you're powerless, that you don't want to speak up, or you don't want to voice your concerns. If somebody take advantage of you, you'll just roll over like a doormat and say, oh yeah, I don't want to ruffle the feathers because life is good, everything is safe, everything is in equilibrium. Why ruffle the feathers? But don't you see? If you have this inferiority mindset, that unresolved psychology interacts with the interdependent whole, and what you attract. Conditions and situations that put you in the inferiority position. People are taking advantage of you. You feel like, oh, I have this anxiety. If I were to say something, if I had to voice something, then somebody is going to hurt me. Somebody is going to put me down. I'm going to lose my job. I had that feeling myself in the past when I was afraid of speaking out, that I was afraid of pointing out that the emperor has no clothes. But that's the point, isn't it? When you're in the inferiority mindset, you feel so afraid of speaking out. You just roll over like someone's doormat. You'll be afraid. But you keep attracting people that actually take advantage of you. Because that's exactly that. To reaffirm your inferiority mindset, you attract people, you create conditions that put you and reaffirm you in that inferiority mindset. So how do you get out? So let's say that somebody sweet talked you into putting a lot of repairs in a home furnace, for instance. They're not really fixing the problem. They just want to scam you to pay more for parts that you don't need. Or they don't even may not even put parts in the furnace to fix the problem. They just want you to buy a new furnace, or they create all kinds of excuses to make you and convince you that you need a new furnace. Now, of course, if you're the person that never questioned, why do I need a new furnace? Can you explain it to me? Give me some examples why I need a new furnace. You never question authority. You never question someone of greater importance, or someone who is greater than you. At least you feel that someone is superior than you. Then that person, the other side, that person who feels superior towards you knows you're weak, knows that I can control you, I can scam you. And so what happens? You have entered this loop where people take advantage of you because they can, because they see your weakness. Not that they actually intentionally see it, it's because they can feel they're not being questioned. Even though they know that they're the emperor that wear no clothes, and you may see them as someone wearing no clothes, but you don't want to say it. Something in you tells you you don't want to say it. But you step back a moment and ask yourself this question. Why are you not questioning the person to get more information, to get more clarity. You see, at any time when you do that, when you question the person, when you ask for more clarity, even you're in the inferiority mindset, you feel a certain pushback in yourself. But if you continue asking the person for more clarity or questioning the person's authenticity, you will start to see that you can see the person that is afraid of asking this question. Who is this person? Because as you keep asking for more and more clarity through your own speech, you're actually sending out higher and higher vibrations, because that is not reality that I see it. That seems to be some kind of a scam or illusion, and you're asking for more clarity, and of course the other side will feel defensive because they know that I'm starting to see they're starting to feel like their illusion, their scam is being exposed. 2. So your speech, your questioning of an authority is a way for you to unmask your own illusions. What is keeping you from seeing these things? Because obviously if you start questioning authority, you start questioning the reality of what they're saying, you start to realize that whatever they're saying is not based on reality. So if someone tried to scam you, if someone tried to lie to you, you have this way of discerning their speech, their vibrations. If it's a low vibration, if you're being able to be neutral, if they're speaking with the lower vibrations than what a person who is telling you the truth, then you know through that speech, is it a higher speech or a lower speech? If it's a lower speech, do you trust that person? Do you believe what that person says? And of course, you will realize that if someone tries to lie to you, if someone tries to put out information that is not the truth, and if you're mindful of that vibration, you can sense if it's a higher speech or lower speech. If it's a lower speech, then you can say, hey, are you trying to scam me? Hey, are you trying to lie to me? Like, you can reassert yourself. And what I found in my own experience is that when I did that to some narcissists, I realized that I have that sense of inferiority. And because I was afraid of questioning the authenticity of what they say, of questioning, you're not being aggressively questioning, you're just being curious, like a little child. You know how a little child always question, oh, why is this person doing this? Why is that thing doing that way? You know, you're just a child being curious. You're questioning through a sense of curiosity. And you will sense that, at least for me, from my heart, I sense a sense of fear coming from the other person who tries to lie to me, who tries to scam me, who tries to tell me, manipulate me to do things, or controlling me to do things that I don't want to do. So I realized that a higher speech for me, in my experience, is that when I say something to people, I'm saying something to people to help them expose the illusion that they are in. Just like a little child exposing the illusion the emperor is in, that he's not wearing any clothes. But also, being a child, you're also exposing the illusion of why you're with the emperor. Just like I exposed the illusion of my boss, he was lying, but also exposed the illusion that I have in me of wanting to associate myself with that company because it made me special, it made me important, and it made me a lot of money too. But the importance, the prestige, the reputation, of course I lost it all because I spoke the truth, because I became a whistleblower. I lost all the reputation, but that really doesn't matter because I realized associating myself with a company, with these people, yes, it built up a certain reputation of me, but it's not real. It's based on an illusion. The reputation is not really me. It's not who I am. But I built it up because that's what I wanted to feel like, to feel special, until I had enough. So even that, the higher speech, can help expose another person's illusion, but also can help you expose your own illusion. Like, why do you associate yourself with a narcissist? Why do you associate yourself with people who take advantage of you, who obviously, clearly using you for purposes and benefits not for you, but for them? So think about it. Why are you afraid of speaking out? And why the Buddha puts this as part of the Eightfold Path? It is because in order for you to let go of any attachments you have of yourself to certain things, certain ideologies and opinions and beliefs, you have to be able to see it. Sometimes you cannot see it, but you can hear it through your ear, to what you said to other people. Maybe when you said it, you become angry. Maybe you share your insights. And when you share your insights, you suddenly realize what you had just said. It helps you realize the illusions that you are in. And it helps you identify the illusions and then go about helping yourself heal from the wounds, the traumas that you experience that put you in this illusion, and then you can get out. So I believe it's not about right speech, wrong speech. You have to think like so much, you have to spend so much time thinking, oh, I should say this is the right speech I should say so it doesn't upset people. Or if I said the wrong speech, I have to apologize. That really is not as important as expressing the speech with the appropriate vibration. If you express the speech with fear, then you know there's something in you, the unresolved psychology causes you to express things with fear, with anger, with frustration. And so it's something you can not blame yourself or judge yourself, but rather look at it neutrally and say, what is causing me to express things with such low vibration? And why then sometimes when I express things with a higher vibration that can not only help myself, but other people? By serving other people, by expressing what I need to express to help other people, it also helps myself. And that's the beauty of a higher speech. The higher speech is a way for you to have clarity, because we are spiritual beings that have a unique individuality and a unique gift, and we express our unique gifts to the people and the spiritual beings on earth. And then our unique gifts allow us to express what we are meant to express, but also allow us to express more deeply by overcoming our fears, our unresolved psychology, so we can express more. There is a saying that a spiritual person told me about Christhood and Buddhahood. Christhood is something you express. If you express Christhood, that is Christhood. If you express Buddhahood, that is Buddhahood. If you don't express it, that's neither Christhood or Buddhahood. You kept it to yourself. Then how would you know what sort of attachments that you need to overcome? Because it's always inside of you. And other people, the whole interdependent whole, knows that you're not expressing it, and then we can take advantage of you. But if you're expressing it, be completely content. If you make a mistake, that's fine. I sometimes have to forgive myself. Sometimes when you express, it's not the nicest way to express it, but then when you continue to express yourself, you refine your expression. You become more confident in expressing, and you don't really care about the results, because what you really care about is to express through your speech that you can discover the illusions that kept you from expressing. And if you resolve the illusion, how bad it is. It's not as bad as you think. But if you are not willing to express what you want to express because you feel, oh, I'm not ready enough, I'm not perfect enough, or I'm not ready enough for public speaking, well, how are you going to express? How are you going to express your speech, your higher speech, that can help liberate other people's illusions and yourself? So today, that's what I have to say about higher speech. I hope that people and all of you can benefit from what I have to say and my talks. And as usual, if you like my talks, please click the likes. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Until then, thank you again for coming and listening to my channel. Next time, I'll talk more about the other paths, the other steps in the Buddha's Eightfold Path. So, this is David saying goodbye.